At the Cornerstone, the Pass-a-Grille Community Church. Learn how founding members of the St. Pete Beach community came together to build the place you are visiting today.
What's at the heart of your community? What person, place, or value brings everyone together in your neighborhood? Founded in 1993 and dedicated to preserving and celebrating our local history, the Gulf Beaches Historical Museum strives to be that hub for the residents of Pass-a-Grille. But long before this building was a museum, it already was serving as the cornerstone in our community. Built in 1917 as the first church on the Pinellas Barrier Islands, this structure itself testifies to the determination and desires of the community, and as the home of the Pass-a-Grille Community Church congregation, served as its heart and soul for many decades. First homesteaded in 1886, Pass-a-Grille in its early years was a community of rugged pioneers who grappled with daily challenges like swarms of mosquitoes, unreliable access to drinking water, and sandy, non-arable soil. While the beaches are considered most desirable real estate today, in 1900, only 27 families called Long Key home, and these had their spiritual needs met by itinerant ministers who would occasionally stop by. Over the next 2 decades, though, conditions on the island began to improve. In 1902, the building of Mary Pier and its general store allowed more regular ferry service to the mainland and easier access to goods and sundries here on Pass-a-Grille. The construction of 6 hotels, including the Bonamy and La Plaza, brought overnight visitors and increased employment opportunities for locals, and the population rose to about 50 families by 1910. These hotels were used as venues for weekly church services that were attended by tourists and residents alike, but the growing community's need for a more permanent spiritual home was becoming increasingly evident. In 1914, a board of trustees was founded to remedy the problem, and the congregation of Pass-a-Grille Community Church was born. The first task was to find a suitable location for a church. Linda Miles, a local widow, was willing to sell a large parcel of land on 10th Avenue, 2 blocks south of Pass-a-Grille's main street, for the reasonable sum of $600. A campaign was begun to raise money for the land purchase and building supplies, and every member of the community rallied together to contribute to the cause. Donations ranged from 50 cents to $50, that's between $13 and $1,300 today, per household, with the average donation being $3. Even Mr. Williams and Mr. Straub, prominent landowners and businessmen in the city of St. Petersburg, invested in the church as indicated by the multitude of letters that are housed in the museum updating them on the progress of its construction. The community's commitment to building a respectable, long-lasting home for their congregation was not only manifest in their fundraising efforts, but also in the decisions that were made about the church's construction. At the time the church was being built, 1915 to 1917, there were no bridges connecting the barrier islands to the mainland. Materials and laborers had to be transported by boat, slowing down the process and adding to the cost. The Board of Trustees decided to utilize rusticated concrete block, wood, and mortar, more durable materials than those used to create the simple wood buildings that made up the rest of the community. Though several hurricanes have struck the Tampa Bay area since the time of the church's construction, including a Category 4 storm in 1921, just 4 years after the building's completion, it has remained intact, a testament to the foresight of the community and the sacrifices they made to construct the church of these more costly materials. The church is elevated 4 feet above ground to allow for minor flooding in the area and features vaulted ceilings more than 15 feet high and an exterior belfry. Upon the church's completion in late 1917, the congregation's pastor, Dr. John Stanley Mitchell, was presented with the Bible, which is still housed in the museum today. From that point on, the church served as a house of weekly worship and gathering place for local events, from weddings to potlucks, baptisms to community meetings. There was also Sunday schooling, as well as the famous Easter procession event, where a cross was raised on the nearby beach every Easter Sunday at sunrise, to commemorate the resurrection of Christ. These essential communal rituals and events helped maintain the connection between the many Christian denominations serviced by the church and also helped include other secular members of the community in the activities of the congregation as well. The sense of community upheld by the congregation continues today, despite the Pass-a-Grille Community Church's relocation. In the wake of World War II, the subsequent baby boom, and the rise of widespread indoor air conditioning, the population of Long Key had increased by 600% between 1950 and 1960. The community church's congregation outgrew its original home, and following 2 years of construction, moved into a new church on 16th Avenue in 1959. There, in addition to Sunday services, the congregation operates a thrift store and a beach parking lot to support ministries such as providing free meals for those in need, building Habitat for Humanity projects, and sending youth on mission trips around the world. More than 110 years after the first services held on the Barrier Islands, the Pass-a-Grille Community Church continues to serve as a source of connectedness and community for local residents, while the Gulf Beaches Historical Museum strives to do the same in the congregation's old home.